Tomatoes, easily the #1 backyard crop for new and old growers alike. It's a great feeling to take a young seedling all the way from humble beginnings to an epic harvest, no doubt. But to do so, you'll have to be virtually mistake-free. Hi, I'm Jeff from the Ripe Tomato Farms. Welcome back to another episode of the Garden Quickie, the show where in 2 minutes or less, we may make mistakes, but we always learn from them. And today's episode is all about avoiding these mistakes with our tomato plants. I've got 6 to get through today, time short as it always is, so let's dive in. Gardening is all about the timing, and tomatoes are no different. Native to the tropical Americas, tomatoes need a certain amount of accumulated warm weather, degree days if you will, to complete their life cycle of growth, flowering, and fruiting. Planting them too late in the season without enough time to accomplish this, especially in areas with short summers, well, that's going to result in little to no harvest. As impressive as these guys are above ground, below it, even more so. Tomato root systems are vast in width as well as depth. Give them the space that they need to grow both in containers and apart from each other, planted out in the garden. Or else, you could have some pretty stunted harvests. Speaking of that depth, whether it's in a container like these fabric grow bags or out in the garden, tomatoes should always be planted deep. This is generally a rule for all nightshades, but especially tomatoes. This plant is the absolute king at sending out adventitious roots. Now, if you're not quite sure what they are, or maybe you've never heard the term before, adventitious roots are stem roots that appear out of nowhere almost instantaneously whenever those stems come in contact with moist soil. Tomatoes are simply the best at it. It's why they virtually never get transplant shock. Take advantage of this growth habit and plant your tomatoes deep. Location, location, location. Tomatoes need sun. There's no way around it. 6+ hours a day of direct sunlight, 0 exceptions. As a large, robust plant with broad leaves, tomatoes go through a lot of water. No question, but this one's a little bit tricky to get right. In fact, watering tomatoes could be an entire video unto itself. Too little, and they'll severely underperform as they curl up just trying to survive. Too much, though, can be just as bad, which makes the whole thing super confusing, even to veteran growers. It all boils down to how you water. Frequent, shallow waterings cause the roots to develop near the top of the soil, giving your tomatoes no coping relief for the summer heat. Train those roots to go downwards with thorough but infrequent waterings for best results. And lastly, tomatoes need your support. Literally, even bush types like this starfire here. Determinate or indeterminate, tomato branches and leaves are heavy. But to make matters even worse, they pale in comparison to the fruit itself. You gotta support all tomato plants, even the small grape and cherry varieties. It's not that hard. Secure the main stem to a stake or trellis at points just above the shoot axils. It has to be here to prevent any unwanted breakage of that main stem. Look, if your tomato plants are growing so well, so big that they actually need support, well, they should have it. Just like I hope you support the next episode of the Garden Quickie. Thanks for watching, guys. And hey, if garden quickies are your thing, be sure to click on this playlist here as we explore and solve more growing issues in 2 minutes or less.